Hello, my name is Jon Williams. I'm a leadership coach and I began volunteering with Sported in 2013, since when I've been helping support member groups to develop their leadership skills. Recently we consulted with groups to find out what sorts of situations leaders can face which sometimes keeps them awake at night, and in response we've produced a series of bite-sized learning guides. This guide looks at how leaders can manage their time most effectively. I hope you find it useful. The way we manage our time is critical to achieving what we want, but how many times do you reach the end of the day wishing you could add a few hours just to get everything done? If life were simple, we'd start the day with a list of what needs to be done, then work our way through the list until we reach the end. In reality though, other things happen during the day which take us off track. Extra jobs pop up. Quick jobs somehow turn into ones that are longer than we thought. People interrupt us to talk about their issues, or we get distracted by things, or we simply run out of steam and need to take a break. It's no wonder we often feel out of control of our time. And when we lose control, we can't be certain that we're spending our time on the most important things, those things that bring us the results we want. So having very clear goals and keeping these in mind will help us decide which tasks will help achieve them. Once our goals are clear, we can then use two criteria to help categorise our tasks: how urgent the task is and how important it is. Urgent tasks have short deadlines, and important tasks are those which contribute most to us achieving our goals. It can be tempting to complete all the urgent tasks we have first. After all, these usually demand our attention most because of the time pressure. It's like fighting a fire. We need to do something quickly. Most of the activities here are critical to getting the job done. Running events and sessions, working on projects, meeting sponsors and customers, etc. You're certainly busy when you operate from this place, but not all urgent tasks are important. Sometimes we get caught up in activities that require our immediate attention, but are not necessarily related to our top priorities and goals. Think about those times you spent in unimportant meetings, or being interrupted, or deal with non-critical phone calls and emails. You feel as if you're constantly dealing with issues that are important to other people, but not related to your own priorities. There's an old Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a fruit tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. This describes the tasks which are important but not urgent perfectly. These are those things we often find ourselves constantly putting off because of more urgent demands. But a lot of the urgent issues we're dealing with today could have been avoided if we'd taken some action at an earlier stage. The important but not urgent area is where we plan and prepare. We do things like staff and volunteer development, strategy, impact evaluations, delegating tasks, contacting prospective sponsors, and importantly taking a break to recharge our own batteries rather than just running on caffeine, etc. When these tasks get done, it helps us get ahead and on top of things and prevent future problems. It might not create the same adrenaline rush as the urgent stuff, but it's an investment which will pay off in the future. As for the not urgent and not important area, here we're spending time on busy work that's not directly related to our goals. For example, we're checking out social media, we're playing games on our phones, or aimlessly web browsing. Over the next week or so, you might find it useful to evaluate where you currently spend your time. Keep a diary of your tasks and activities and then place each one into the relevant quadrant. Are there any urgent issues which could have been avoided by taking an action earlier? Here are a couple of ideas to help you rebalance your time between the urgent and important. Most successful leaders spend most of their time on the important but not urgent tasks. If you can, schedule specific time in your diary each week for these activities. Limit interruptions when focusing on important but not urgent activities where possible by switching off your phone or at least putting it onto silent mode. Always question why you are doing something. The most effective people make sure that what they are working on is directly related to their top goals. So make sure your goals are clearly defined at all times. Before starting a new project, ask yourself, is this really what I should be doing now? And learn to say no or not yet to some requests which are not connected to your goals. Finally, limit your time wasters. If you do get sidetracked online, try downloading a screen time tracker app or limiting your social media time to specific times only. Once you've identified the importance and urgency of a task, here are 4 different ways you can choose to deal with it. If it is important for you to do and you have the time to do it, then get it done straight away. Postponing important tasks often leads to procrastination or feelings of anxiety or stress. Each time you pick up or start a task, it takes some time to get into it or get your head around what needs doing. So if you don't complete the task, then you go through that cycle again each time you pick it up and you're wasting time. If it's worth your time, then focus on getting it done now and move on. Is it important or necessary for you to do the task? Or is it your responsibility to do it all? If the answer is no, then delegate it. Often people choose to do certain tasks themselves as it feels quicker than getting someone else to do it, or as a way of keeping busy and avoiding what is really important. When you do delegate, empower people to do the task their own way and ensure there is some measure in place to check that the task has been completed. There are some tasks that you may just not be able to deal with straight away. It might be an email about an upcoming team meeting, for example. It's not important that you deal with it right now, but it is important to get done. So you could defer it and look at the email later. Similarly, you might need to meet with a volunteer to discuss an upcoming change to procedures. It is a very important task, yet it might be able to wait until the next team brief meeting in a few days. Finally, you could delete the task. Check whether it needs your attention or is worth your time. If it doesn't, then simply delete it. Are you completing any tasks out of habit which are now obsolete, for example? Roughly 80% of our results come from 20% of where we spend our time, so there may be more opportunities to delete unnecessary tasks than you think. I hope you found this short guide to time management helpful. There are some similar bite-sized videos in this leadership series which you might want to look out for on the Sported website. If you'd like to discuss any other follow-up support as a result of this video, or just in general to support your organisation, then please contact your regional or national manager or Sported member services using the numbers provided. Thank you.